Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hello again, Cleveland sports fans, and happy Friday. Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show here on WKYC. I'm Jay Crawford. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll talk about many things. Among them, the rumor mill is swirling in Major League Baseball. Who are the Guardians focusing? Tyvis.
I'm Tyvis Powell, and I'm going to tell you why Amari Cooper can threaten Calvin Johnson's single-season record this year. G.
I'm G. Bush, leader of KoolAid Mafia, and I'm going to let you know why Elijah Moore has messed up OTA catches and all spectacular things for everybody, including me, McNuggets.
I'm McNuggets, and we have completely messed up what we were going to tease to start the show. So I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to tell you why at the end of the show, a list that categorized the most miserable fan bases in sports hit the nail on the head for the Cleveland
Oh, they
Browns.
got that right. Okay, that's an interesting topic. That is a very interesting topic. Good pivot. You had no choice but to go that way. You had no choice.
Last second audible.
Yeah, and
Deshaun
well done.
Watson at the line of scrimmage. Omaha.
That was well done. Well done, McNuggets. All right, yeah, we've got 30 minutes of sports talk for you here on WKYC. Mike, we love lists. We love lists. One caught your eye recently about a record that some think is unbreakable. Tell us about the list, the record, and how a Browns ended up on this list.
Yeah, Bucky Brooks from NFL.com, who's been on the show, very smart, intelligent football mind, ranked his 5 receivers who he thinks have a chance to break Calvin Johnson's single-season receiving yards record of 1,964 this season. And the list caught my eye because some players I thought would be on it weren't, and some players I didn't think would be on it were. Steve, let's see the list here. He ranked his top 5. Number 1, Tyreek Hill. Number 2, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 3, Justin Jefferson. Those guys all make sense. 4 and 5, I have my questions about.
I do too.
George Pickens from Pittsburgh and Amari Cooper from Cleveland. Cooper
Where's Chase?
Chase, CeeDee Lamb, 2 guys that you would expect to be on there who aren't. Now, maybe he was just trying to pick some outside-of-the-box characters to fit his list, but Amari Cooper had a career high in receiving yards last year with 1,250. That is 700 yards shy of Calvin Johnson's record. So we'll start with Cooper, then we'll get to the rest. Does Amari have any shot of breaking the single-season receiving yards record this year?
Hey.
I'm sorry, that number is gigantic.
I understand that, but let me put your hand down. Let me tell you. Let me see that, Steve. Let me tell the people. What y'all got to realize is Ken Dorsey is coming over here with a new playbook.
Juicy.
You know what I'm saying? And it's juicy, as they like to say, right?
Pause.
Well, if that's the case, chill. If that's the case, Amari Cooper has thrived under this Kevin Stefanski offense. He's been getting 1,200 yards a year. But the crazy part about it is he is the main focus on offense. Nick Chubb was out last year, so he became the number 1 guy that defensive coordinators had to worry about. How do we stop Amari Cooper? If we stop Amari Cooper, we stop the Cleveland Browns. Well, guess what the Browns did? They went out there and traded for Jerry Jeudy. Guess what? If Jerry Jeudy comes in here and does what he's supposed to do, it takes the attention off of Amari Cooper, forces Amari on one-on-one situations, and he absolutely thrives in one-on-one situations. Deshaun gets him the ball. That 12,000 could go to 17, maybe 18, maybe 19. I think with a contract year, knowing that you don't have a contract after this season, you got no choice but to go all out and play for another contract next year. And I think Amari Cooper creates so much separation that it don't matter what you do. He's unguardable at times, and we need to see that for him for 17 games, and I think he can do it.
He's becoming the leader of the KoolAid Mafia.
He drinking it.
What? I just hit you with facts. Everything I just told you was a fact.
That's just
it all comes down to Jerry
Jeudy.
There's a fact.
He's going to get 120 yards per game.
Why not? We throwing the ball. It's juicy.
Hey, listen.
We
Okay.
throwing the ball.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
Nick Chubb might not be starting. We got to throw the ball.
Hey, let's just keep it real, man. We got all people in our lives, man. You know, we can dress people up all we want. If my wife is dressed up, shout out to her, and she's on one side of the road, and Beyonce is dressed up over there. I got to look at Beyonce. I'm sorry. The reality is, guess who's getting doubled at all the times?
Who?
Amari Cooper. Jerry Jeudy will see single coverage until he gets 5,000 yards. We are going to have Jerry Jeudy over here getting singled up, and Amari Cooper is the guy who's going to get the road coverage. Even if Jerry Jeudy is balling, I'm going with the fact that, look, I like him. I love Amari Cooper. Love him.
1,200 yards, double coverage every game.
You know the
My
difference
goodness.
between 12 and 19?
I'm just saying.
It's unbelievable.
I'm just saying,
It's-
Jerry Jeudy,
yeah.
Elijah Moore, David Njoku, help my man out. Everybody, listen, the locker room is a sacred place.
Cedric Tillman.
We understand that it's people's contract years, and you know what happens when people got contract years? As a teammate, it's my responsibility to put them in the best light because everybody wants everybody to get the bag. So if that's the case, y'all got to step up, man.
We're not
Help
talking,
my
though-
man Coop out.
Tyvis, we're not talking about like 1,400 yards or
No,
1,500
we talking
yards.
about
Those might be
2,000.
doable under your scenario.
Two
First of
reps.
all, this record,
You talking about
and
the-
remember, Calvin Johnson did it in 16 games.
So,
Okay?
Yeah, he did. That's crazy.
Now they get 17. First of all, we haven't mentioned the player's name yet that I think is most equipped to break the record.
CD Lamb.
Puka Nacua.
I forgot. I thought of his name
This
too.
guy-
I thought of his name
Why?
too.
Because he young?
No, that has something to do with it, yes. But
Is
also,
he creating separation like
oh my,
Coop?
did you watch him last year?
Yeah, I did. He was actually spectacular.
Okay. This guy, for my money, is the receiver in football. And I know everybody wants to mention Justin Jefferson. Chase is great. I'd take Chase any day of the week. Puka Nacua is going to be one of these guys, if he can stay healthy. He plays like his hair's on fire. He runs great routes. He makes catches most receivers don't even think about making.
And we know McVay will spoon feed you because
That's the thing. He's in the right offense with the right coach and the right quarterback. So, no. And by the way, I don't think Puka Nacua is going to break it. I just think that of all the receivers right now, the one who I believe is most equipped to break it is Nacua. And I love Amari Cooper, but I have an obligation on this show to say not what I want. I want a pony for Christmas. I want to say what I think's going to happen. I'm going to get a tie. This is what I have to say. I think Amari Cooper's going to have another good year. 1,900 yards is not a good year. It's an all-time, best of all time year.
It's not that you saying what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and I get it. It's the fact that this man, the KoolAid Mafia, what he introduced himself? KoolAid,
Leader of the KoolAid Mafia.
Mr. Deshaun's gonna throw for 5,000 yards this year. Well, Coop can't get 2.
No. Well, that's not. And by
Well,
the way,
if he gotta get 5, he need him to get 2.
And by the way, the most egregious thing is not about none of that. It's the fact that Jay said he wanted a pony. If you, sir, wanted a pony, you can get one tomorrow.
That is very true.
And if I see a grazing pony in the back of Jay's house, talk about I saved some money.
I actually made that up. I don't even want a pony for Christmas.
There it is. He had to change that.
I know. I
Yeah.
want a space shuttle.
Now
that ain't gonna happen either.
There you go. Right.
All right. We'll see. We're going to revisit this in December or January and see how many yards he actually finished with.
All he needs is another 300-yard game. We need like five of them, man.
Those are easy.
We there.
He needs 2.5 300-yard
My
games,
goodness.
Tyvis.
Okay, let's now talk about training camp videos, training camp catches. Did Elijah Moore, between what he did in training camp and what he delivered in the regular season, ruin it for all receivers forever when it comes to making great catches in August? G. Bush.
Yeah, this man, and I'm glad we got him. We drug him all the way from Columbus to come up here on Friday
To beat him up.
to answer to this buffoonery, this travesty.
Buffoonery.
The fact Tyvis was coming in here as a double agent. I've seen Elijah Moore. I've seen the package just evolved. I've seen the types of the runs and the throws, and I tell you, it's Shangri-La. I tell you, I've seen the Wizard of Oz. And this dude came out here and was regularo. regular.
Listen, hold on, wait a minute. Can I tell my story?
Yes, tell your
Let
truth.
me tell my story. All right, so I got to go to a Browns practice, and it was probably the best day offensively for the Browns. I mean, Deshaun threw one incompletion on the day.
Offense looked juicy.
Oh, juicy it's an understatement. It was everything that you could dream of. It was better than the greatest show on turf. That's how it looked. I mean, touchdown after that. Elijah Moore was in the backfield. He was in the slot. He was outside. This man was incredible. And I thought to myself, it's not like he doing it against the twos. This is the ones that he doing this to. This Denzel, MJ Emerson, Geno, these is who this is against. So I'm thinking to myself, this is legit. And then when the season came around,
See, here's the problem with that story.
It's a lot of elements. It's a lot of elements variables that go into it. People got hurt. Quarterbacks was down.
You're backpedaling. See, here's the problem with your story. He said, I went out there and he looked like Jerry Rice and Deshaun looked like Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And then
I said he looked better than Brady that day, actually.
And I thought to myself, but you didn't just think to yourself.
Yeah, I
you
said it
came
out loud.
into that studio wearing that hat, and he
Yeah.
sat in that chair, G.
Yep.
Bush, and he was like, oh boy.
Jay, we named the show the next day. Tyvis compares Deshaun Watson to Tom Brady.
Yes.
One of our most viewed shows ever.
I forgot about that.
And he was like, oh,
He did.
oh, wait
He
until you
did.
see. Oh,
He looked at, listen.
oh.
When
And we all thought,
it was
oh my
Tom
goodness.
Brady-esque. That's
And
what
what
I
happened?
said.
And what happened?
He got hurt.
He was running backwards half the season.
Reverses.
He got hurt.
Then slung
hurt.
down.
Why?
So because of Tyvis,
Oh, my
from
goodness.
now on, when I see a wide receiver jump up, do a backflip, catch a ball with one hand, squeeze it, come down and get plowed while he's hitting the ground and make the catch, I'm going to
Jay.
say, that's all right.
Okay, so look.
That's
so
cool.
Look, so look, maybe I over exaggerated a little bit. Maybe I did. Maybe I put a little bit. I put a little bit too much on it. But this year, it's redemption year. That's what it is. Elijah Moore redemption.
So you're
year.
doubling down on
Listen,
this?
it's got to happen.
You're dying on this hill.
I got no choice. I got no lives left. This is Vegas. I pushed it all in on number 8. It's got to happen
I need
this
a
year.
yardage. I need yardage.
Yardage. I'm going just 800 yards this year. Just
800?
800 yards. Listen, 800
That's
yards.
not pushing all the chips
5
into the middle
touchdowns.
Of the
That's
When it
Milwaukee.
happened, y'all gonna call me a prophet.
He almost had
800
that last year.
5 touchdowns.
He was a prophet's tag after
Listen,
800
yards. Listen, it's a lot of people that's got to get the ball now. Coop going for 2,000, Jerry going for 1,200. 8, I think he could get 8.
Wow.
Just saying.
Okay, you built him up. You're putting all the chips in.
800 yards.
800.
5 touchdowns.
He
Book
had
it.
what? What did he have last year? 670?
649.
640.
Okay. Wow. He's going to go all crazy and have 8 more receiving yards a game this year.
That's fine.
Well, that'll be what
I
we're
ain't ready
looking
to
for.
say 1,000 yet.
All right, we're taking a break. When the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show comes back, the rumor mill is churning in Major League Baseball. Is this the guy the Guardians need to bring to town? It's next. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. The Guardians have a 6-game lead on the Kansas City Royals. They start a weekend set tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. Very few tickets are left. Saturday, tomorrow, sold out. Friday and Sunday, tonight and Sunday, limited tickets are available. Huge series. We're starting to look forward, like middle to end of July. We know there are holes on this team, and there are definitely trade rumors that are out there. One of them from Joel Sherman, who's a great baseball writer for the New York Post. He is saying that the rumor right now is he thinks Starling Marte is the answer to the Guardians' problems. That if they could bring him in on a trade, that this would make a huge difference for the Guardians in their playoff push. You guys buying that?
I mean, depending on what it's going to cost them.
That's what I wanna know as well.
I mean, is this, we look at it, we still need a couple more arms. And, when you're trading guys from a position of, all right, well, we got some prospects, but, I mean, do we really need hitting or pitching more? And what is it going to cost them? Now, listen, Starling Marte, I love his power. I love what he would bring. I think that it would solidify a lot of stuff, and you can slide guys down like Will Brennan, who has a little surprising power. And you throw him in with a Naylor, with a Ramirez, that would look tremendous. But do they have enough to get him and get greedy and get me another pitcher too?
Isn't he up there in age? He's like
He is. Yeah.
So he up there in age, and I think
He's
he's had
better. For the record, I don't think this is the answer.
Yeah, I don't either. I think that he's had maybe 20 home run season, which for an outfielder that's kind of the number that we're looking for. But call me crazy, the way that our outfield has been playing lately.
Yeah.
It makes me okay with that part of the outfield hitting right now. That's not the biggest concern to me. I think G's right. The pitching is what I'm worried about. Maybe an everyday shortstop is something that I'm worried about. But I don't think that the outfield they're fine the way that they're playing right now. So I would not make this trade.
For me, you're going to have to give up prospects no matter what you do. There's going to be pieces. And I say prospects. I mean, who knows? Maybe someone would take Arias and Bo Naylor off our hands. They're not really prospects anymore.
Maybe Straw.
I doubt it, but their value has definitely gone down now that they've got a sample size and it hasn't been what it was expected to be. For me, I don't want to discuss anything when it comes to trades unless it involves a pitcher. Because that's the starting point for the Guardians. They need another arm. And I know Gavin Williams is in the pipeline and he's coming soon, but what is he? He's had 2 or 3 setbacks during his rehab from the initial injury. The elbow just keeps it's an issue. So I don't even know when he does come up how much we can rely on him. This much I know. The Guardians offensively have made such a jump from where they were last year. I think they're either at or above where they were in 2022 when they made the playoffs and beat the Rays in the first wildcard series. I think that their offense is going to be okay. Now the Texas Rangers are kind of my yardstick. They won it last year, and they did it kind of an unconventional way. The Diamondbacks made it to the World Series. They did it in a very unconventional way. I'm not sure you need to have a lineup that looks like the Dodgers or the Yankees with all of these sluggers. Pitching neutralizes hitting in the playoffs. So please, Cleveland, I know you're going to make deals. And maybe you do need an outfielder or a utility infielder or a shortstop that can give you a little bit more in the way of average. But all the moves that they're making, the big moves they should be making, need to bring pitching help to town.
Yeah.
And last I checked, Starling Marte can't pitch.
Yeah.
So I'm good on that trade. I'd like to move off of that rumor and if we can.
GMJ, we don't want that.
Push that into the
Moving
weeds.
on.
And by the way, I do think last week we had the GM of the Guardians, Mike Chernoff, on, and he said, listen, I'm going to spend most of my available time from now until the trade deadline talking to teams about deals.
Yep.
I trust this organization's front office more than any of the other front offices in town.
Yeah.
What they continually do and consistently do with a third of the paycheck of the big boys is astounding. You make up for a lack of money with brilliance in scouting and deal making, and that's where and by the way, we haven't discussed this. They do own the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft.
Yeah, I've been
and
looking
this
at that.
Caglione guy in Florida is hitting one big home run after another in big games. I don't know that they can draft a guy and expect him to play in the major leagues this year. It rarely happens, particularly for position players, but it is the number 1 overall pick, and it's the first time they've ever had that in franchise history. Who knows? Maybe they get that piece with the first pick in the draft. Who knows?
I trust the front office. Like I said, after talking to Mike last week, he made me feel like whatever move they make, I'm good with it because he's on it. He's locked into what's going on, and he knows the team better than anybody. So whatever they decide to do, it's probably going to be the right move.
And you know what? It might include moving on from some guys that we have talked a lot about.
Yeah.
Manzardo, last year the deal they made, and it disappointed me greatly. They traded Savali, who was at the time our best pitcher, to Tampa for Manzardo. And everybody thought, okay, well, we're going to get the better of that in the long run. Well, Manzardo came up, and I know he's young and it's early, but he had a month here, and he did not display the same hitting prowess he displayed in Columbus. He can tear the cover off the ball at AAA. That tells you the difference between, particularly in pitching, AAA and major leagues. The guys in AAA that are pitching aren't good enough to be here.
Yeah.
The guys that are here are a lot better than the AAA guys. And I'm not saying they're going to move off Manzardo, but we're going to have to give something to get something. We're taking a break. When we come back, how miserable are we? And by we, I mean the Cleveland Browns fan base. There's a new list, and I'll tell you we rank high on that list. We discuss next. This is going to be a fun debate because we're trying to figure out what is the definition of miserable. And I guess what we're going to use for the segment, Mike, whatever you define as miserable. So set up the topic, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, there's a Twitter account out there called Big Game Boomer, which just ranks stuff. It drops a list. They have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter and Instagram and social media, and then people go crazy about them. And most of the lists I kind of just laugh at, but this one I found particularly interesting and perfect way to end off a Friday show. Big Game Boomer ranked his 50 most miserable fan bases in the world, at least in American sports. And Steve, take tag football here. There you see the Cleveland Browns coming in at number 2. The Jets are number 1. The Colorado Rockies at 3. The Arkansas Razorbacks at 4. The Mets at 5. Rutgers, Jay.
I see
Your
that.
son's school at 6. The Cowboys at 7.
Wow.
The U at 8. The A's at 9. Detroit Lions at 10. You can see the rest of the list, but I want to focus on the Browns. There is no definitive definition for how he ranked miserable, but in your mind, are the Browns the second most miserable fan base?
I think they are. I think, yeah. First of all, so there's a reason, like, why weren't the LA Clippers on there?
Right.
Because their fans are like, they show up late, they leave early.
They don't really got
they're
fans.
They're not really good fans. My definition of this, I'll go back to when I was working at ESPN and doing cold pizza. We did a 10-part series, one a week, the most tortured sports cities in America. Okay? And we let fans vote, media voted, and it was a huge thing. We had hundreds of thousands of votes. The Cleveland won. Cleveland won the most tortured sports city. Now, that's because we hadn't won a title. This was before the Cavs won in 16. Hadn't won a title. The Indians were abysmal for 40 years. The Browns, after the rebirth, were just an absolute dumpster fire. So that's different. That was for the city. But for me, yeah, the Browns, I could make a case the Browns are number 1. Who's number 1 in the poll?
The Jets.
Who has won a Super Bowl in their history?
Jets.
The Jets.
It's been
Super Bowl 3, Joe Namath, I guarantee it.
It's been so long.
So what?
at
It's
least
been
they've been
longer
there.
for Cleveland.
At least they
I
was
can
there.
make an argument that we are the most miserable fan base because we want to win so badly, and we're always handed anything but the trophy.
I just, like, you know, to me, like, I know when we get to the Super Bowl, if you get there, like, when you say torture franchises and miserable, you're right. Like, I think about, like, I never thought about it like this, but, you know, my dad's getting older, right?
Sure.
You know, my grandpa always dreamed of the Browns going to the Super Bowl, and he passed away. And then my dad's getting older. Family people, everybody out there knows. Like, heck, you and me getting older.
Yes.
Like it's you're looking around and you start to question your mortality, and it's kind of morbid. But it's like I just want to see them orange helmets on Super Bowl Sunday.
Once before
Just
I die.
once.
Once before
Just
I
be
die.
out there.
When y'all put it like that, it hurts my heart. It really does.
But we've changed your mind, haven't we?
Yeah, I did, but it really hurts my heart because I think I'm there too. It's so much that this fan base would sacrifice just to see it one time. And it ain't even necessarily they got to win. They just want to see them in it, and that's a shame.
It is. And Tyvis, I'm glad you came around to our thinking because imagine this. You can reverse engineer this answer. Which fan base would be most appreciative of a championship?
Oh, the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, so without it, we are the most miserable.
Think about
we
the
want
Cavs.
it more than I know every fan base wants it and they think they want it, but with
They
all
don't
the
want it
things
like
we've
that.
been through, the drive, the fumble, our team left, all of the things, all of the crazy things, we just want to win one. And if it happens, there will be no more appreciative
Right.
fan base.
Whoever-
It will be the parade of all parades.
I'm
It'll make
telling you.
It'll make that Cavs parade, and it'll be February. It'll make that Cavs parade feel like a little JC picnic.
They will be all around the world, all the Browns backers from Ireland, down in South Africa, in Brazil. They will come together in a communal rejoicing.
People coming out of the hospital and stuff. They rolling out the bed with the thing.
They probably will.
Hey, by the way, man, shout out to, we got something coming up. Emmy Awards is coming up. We'll be there Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's tomorrow night, right?
Mikey McNuggets is nominated. The show's nominated. Cross your fingers for us.
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. Bring home the Yibby
right
here for
well
Northeast
said,
Ohio.
well done. Have a great weekend. Stay cool. Go Guardians. We'll see you Monday.